What's up, you guys? Back again, and I got a special one for you. This one's really going to change your life if you listen to it, if you take the advice, if you take the steps and just push towards it and really think about and plan this out. You can really make a difference in your life. So, today I'm going to be talking about balancing your finances and having balance in your life. Now, I can tell you right now that without balancing your finances, you're not going to have balance in your life. If you think about all the problems that you have in your life, it's because you don't balance your finances. If you get into an emergency situation and now you can't pay your rent because you had to get a new engine for your car, or something happened along the way where you weren't able to afford something, your friends ask you to go out, you really want to go out, you feel down now because you can't go out with your friends because you didn't plan for it. Now, this isn't to say you should plan to go out with your friends every weekend and that should be your main goal, but I'm gonna tell you how you should plan and what should be important to you. But first, I want to start off with a quote. I've been doing that in all of my videos. If you look back, probably the last three videos, it's something that I've been doing lately. And I think it's really helpful to listen to quotes because they make a lot of sense and they take seconds to understand. So this one is from Robert Kiyosaki. It says, "It's not how much money you make, but how much you keep, how hard it works for you, and how many generations you keep it for." A lot of people don't think like that. A lot of people have a paycheck to paycheck mindset and they're just thinking, okay, how do I pay my rent this month? How do I, get groceries? And that's about as far as their mentality goes for balancing their finances. And that kind of thinking will lead you into a lot of trouble down the road. So, the first thing I want to talk about is if you don't balance your finances, you can't balance your life. And I went over that, and you have to understand that if your finances aren't being balanced, if you're not planning ahead, you're going to lead a difficult life. And not only that, but it says a lot about your character. It says a lot about how you plan. A lot of people say they want to, start a successful business and make $1 million. But if you can't balance your finances right now, you're not going to run a successful business. A successful business is all about personal finance. If you can't control your own personal finance, then you're not going to be able to run a business because you have to save, you have to invest, you have to know how to use the money and how to cut costs and all of that when you start your own business. So you have to know all these basic personal finance concepts. My second opinion is money doesn't buy happiness, but lack of it does take happiness away. Like I said before, if you are living paycheck to paycheck and your car breaks down and you have to fix it, well, now look at all the stress you're causing inside of you. Look at all the fear you have now about how you're going to go on to the next month. You know, Imagine you have a gym membership and your gym membership gets canceled. Now you can't go work out at the gym. Now you feel down. Now you feel depressed and you have to stay home. Imagine your TV gets cut off because you didn't pay your cable bill, or your PG&E gets cut off. Now you have all this, lack of money doesn't buy happiness, but lack of it does take happiness away because now you have a problem. Now you have something that you need to deal with and don't know how because you don't have the resources for it. So, here's my plan for how you can start to balance your finances so that you can have a balanced life. And it's what's important to you. How important is it and what your plan is? So, for me, I really have four quadrants where I really want to start putting money into, every time I get money. And you're going to break this up into percentages so that you know exactly how much you have. For me, cost of living. Everyone has a cost of living. Even if you're, you know, in high school, straight out of high school, you live with your parents, they don't charge you rent, maybe you have a phone bill, that's your cost of living. Your credit card, um, maybe some gym memberships, maybe a membership to Audible, whatever it is, that's your cost of living. And I would actually take Audible out, but your phone, whatever it is, gas, your car, insurance, whatever it is, that's your cost of living. For most people, it's going to be a lot more. For people with kids, it's even more. Understand what your cost of living is and how much percentage of that money is being taken from the money that you earn. And you want to get that down to at least 60%. Um, that gives you 40% of your income to do other things. So, cost of living is one, investments. You want to set yourself up for the future. Um, and without investing, you're not going to set yourself up for the future. You're if you can save money, but what's the likelihood of you saving $1 million in 30 years? That's a lot of money. That's, let's say, I can't do the math right now, but if you wanted to save $1 million in 10 years, that would be $100,000 a year, right? Um, so it's probably not likely that you'll be able to do that. So if you invest, then it has the snowball effect. Now you can save $10,000 a year, and that 10,000 will make 10%. So now you have 11,000, and it keeps snowballing. It keeps growing, and you invest that so that in 30 years you can have that $1 million. The third one is fun. You want to have some fun on the side. That should be a small percentage, 5 to 10% of what you earn. You want the investment side to be further because, you want to be able to have this future set up to where you can make, try to retire early, try to live a better life, maybe get an easier job, maybe let work a little bit less sometime in the future, just to have a little stress relief, and it'll make you happier in the long run. You'll have a more balanced life. Fun is not so important right now, but it is important. You know, let's say you have 10% and you save, $40 a month. And, you know, in 3 months you have $120. Now you want to take your girl out to the movies, go buy something to eat. Maybe it's, $60, $70. You have a nice night, you have $70 left over, and you can keep saving that, and you can save a whole year and get up to maybe 1,000, and then maybe you want to go to Hawaii or, take a trip somewhere. You can do that now. And the last one is emergencies. And just because it's last doesn't mean that it's the least important. Um, but you want to have an emergency fund. And I suggest, um, if you're just starting out, put this emergency fund kind of high, maybe for a year. Put it at 20% of your income. So that way you can, start to build up that emergency fund and then start investing, because you don't want to run into an emergency and you have barely nothing saved for the emergency, and you have it in all these long-term investments that you can't touch. So, save for that emergency first. But back to what I was saying, what's important to you, how important is it, and what's your plan? You may be past that stage. Now your plan might be for wedding, or you want a new car. Put a percentage aside so you know how much money you have, and now your goals are measurable. If you want to put a down payment on a house, let's say it's $20,000, and you're like, okay, well, I want to do $4,000 a year. So, maybe 5 to 10 years I can have that down payment. Or 4, 8, 12, 16, 5 years at 4,000 a year, I can have the down payment for, $20,000 for a house. So now you divide that 4,000 by 12, and you get how much you got to save a month, which you get the percentage of your income, and that's what you start saving every month. When you start thinking like this, you can actually set goals. A lot of people, set goals and they're just like, I want to make $1 million. Okay, well, how are you going to do that? How are you going to do that with your income? What are the steps you're going to take? How long do you plan on taking to get to that $1 million? Is it 30 years, 40 years, 10 years, 5 years? Well, how are you going to do that? You got to increase your income. You got to start investing. You got to find a way to make it happen quick, because you have to have a plan set up to where if you follow it every month, you'll get there. And if you don't have a way to measure it, you're not going to reach your goals. It's just that simple. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you got a lot of value out of this. I'll read this quote one more time. It's not how much money you make, but how much money you keep, how hard it works for you investing, and how many generations you keep it for. Real estate stays in a lot of generations. And that's my final note, you guys. I hope this was helpful. Comment below with any questions you have. Thank you for watching.